Hello, everybody. I'm Lynn Yeldell with Seventh Scout. It's right up noon on Wednesday, June 24th. We're about to start our webinar about digital marketing during coronavirus, inbound marketing for sales teams. We've had some great webinars about inbound marketing, but also wanted to kind of add because there's the big M word in there about marketing, you can actually use inbound marketing for your sales teams as well. And we're all interested in growth strategies right now. Joining me today will also be Emily and Eve from our Seventh Scout team. They're going to be listening in on the Q&A. So if you have some questions along the way, please feel free to ask them, and they will either chime in or they will let me know what you guys are interested in, and we'd love to tailor this presentation for you. So let me stop showing me and get the presentation loaded up, and we'll get started. We're going to have probably about 30 minutes of presenting, and then we will have about whatever time that you all would like to have afterward, so that you can ask any questions along the way. So again, here's our presentation for today, which is going back to inbound marketing for sales teams. How's everybody doing? We started this back in mid-March, and we thought this would be maybe a few weeks, hopefully not much more than a few months. And we're here still talking about how do we grow our companies together during this unprecedented time. Conferences have been canceled. We found out about South by Southwest being canceled in mid-March, which was just unprecedented. So all the business that would have been transacting at that, globally famous conference all shifted to online. So, as a digital marketing agency, we are not an essential business, but we certainly are a busy one. And for that, we're very grateful. Our work is based in the foundations of inbound marketing, which is a strategy designed to grow your business organically by attracting, engaging, and delighting the ideal customer. And in fact, we love the statistic from Forrester Research, which says when companies excel at inbound, they can generate 50% more sales-ready leads with 33% more lower costs. I mean, those numbers sound good for companies that have to make cuts during the pandemic to grow your business and spend less at it. So we had mentioned earlier the scouts on today's presentation. That is not Emily on the left. That's actually Rhodes Gibson, my co-owner and partner in Seventh Scout, unable to join us for this specific webinar. So Emily very kindly said that she would hop in, and Emily is in charge of our community engagement. It's a much more powerful word than just social media because it really talks about not only posting, but also interacting with your customers, your clients, your brands, and so forth. So Emily heads up our community engagement, and we also have Eve, as you all are familiar, participating in previous webinars as well, who heads up our design, which is always, I think, a word that seems so narrow because she has such depth of experience in strategy and kind of the why behind design as well. So that's kind of the team with you all today. And as we mentioned before, this started back, we had a group here in Austin, Texas, approach our agency and said, there's a lot of businesses that are pretty scared. And our first webinar was actually on April 1st, no fooling, where we did the do's and don'ts of marketing during the age of coronavirus, and had such a good response from that. We've been doing just about every 2 weeks, Wednesdays at noon, these subsequent webinars. And I wanted to go through them very quickly because we've not only done these live with people asking questions and interacting, but we've also recorded them and placed them on our blog. And I think people have found that useful to go back and review some of the webinars that we've done. So the first one, the do's and don'ts of marketing during the age of coronavirus. After that, we talked about search engine optimization. Well, if everybody's at home and online, it's more important than ever to be found through search engines. And even though that's a constantly shifting game, there are some best practices to follow. So be sure to check that one out. And then we talked about, so if you've got the do's and don'ts and you're leveraging and maximizing all your content, making sure that you're more readily available and to be found on search, the next step is, how do you know what's working? You know, we are data driven agency because we love to put campaigns together, but the most important part isn't how pretty they look or anything. It's really the most important part is what results did they have for our brands and for our clients. So we broke down ways of looking and really tweaking and leveraging and optimizing that content. Engaging social media, again, community engagement. What are you posting? How are you posting? What's the tone of your brand? Then we talked about inbound marketing strategies last seminar. And now we're going to talk about inbound marketing strategies, the follow-up for sales. It's the marketing word, right? But we can really talk about how marketing and working in conjunction with sales really can grow your businesses. And then finally, 2 weeks from now, we'll have our final webinar about building online training programs. If we are all distributed workforces right now, how are we going to work with our existing team, onboarding new team members for the near future? There are many companies that have declared that this work from home order won't be temporary anymore, and many people will be working from home. So how do we interact and how do we train teams and really stay on these aligned and same pages with values? So we hope that you'll join us on July 8th. As I said, it's the last one that we'll be doing in this format, and we're going to start doing little 7-minute sessions, either on thought leadership with existing clients or some people that we really respect in the industry. So we'd love to hear from you if there's a topic or a person or maybe yourself that would like to talk about what's going on within digital marketing, inbound marketing, and sales. We'd love to feature you in one of these upcoming episodes. But today we're going to kind of flipped it around. If you're used to doing these with us, we typically talk in the beginning part of the slides about what's happening right now during COVID-19 and people working from home. We decided to switch it around on this one. So the first 4 topics that we'll be talking about, just making sure we're all on the same page. You might be joining us for the first time. What is inbound marketing? And then because it has that big M word, can you really generate sales, and how do you work with sales through inbound marketing strategies? What's a CRM and how do you use it? And then sales and marketing collaboration. How do we bring those 2 groups together? This is just going to be some 101 for folks. So if you want to skip ahead, or if you're very experienced in inbound marketing, it's just to make sure we all get on the same page. But those last 3 slides, I really hope everybody pays close attention. We went out and found some benchmark data going back to the beginning of the year, and then making sure to see what's happening and when it started happening and changing with marketing. So benchmark data, and we'll specifically do a deep dive into sales emails and sales calls as benchmarked data. All right, so how will inbound marketing benefit your sales team? We are big fans of HubSpot here. Now, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of inbound marketing platforms. We just so happen to use Seventh Scout, use HubSpot for Seventh Scout for our own internal purposes. As far as with working for our clients, we're kind of platform agnostic. We've worked with Salesforce, Marketo, using MailChimp, and all different types of strategies. So, but we're going to work kind of within the HubSpot flywheel. So if you're familiar with HubSpot, you're used to seeing this: attract, engage, and delight your customers. You know, HubSpot believes the funnel is dead, that it is a flywheel, because it's not about selling, it's actually about helping and moving people along. So you've been reading a lot about this customer-centric marketing. It's for good reason, because the days of sales and controlling all of the information in the buying process, it's really long gone. And I would argue, when we get to the end of these slides, that this shift with people having to do more research online because we're not going to conferences and events has really escalated the amount that your prospects and your customers are spending online doing their research before you even get to the opportunity to talk about the sales. So luckily, an inbound marketing strategy will ensure your sales team are providing a value to each customer that they engage with. So what are those components? The attract, that first stage in the marketing process, it's, how do you get the right customers to your benefit, to your business? And we use personas. We have some great ebooks and some promotion, or so I guess some ebooks and some blogs that we've done around building personas. And that really helps you become more efficient, like that Forrester research, 50% increase in sales with a 33% reduction in cost, because you're getting to know that person's pain points, their motivations, and their buying behaviors. You know your current and your future customers' industries, studying their social media stats. It's amazing watching Emily go through and really breaking apart a lot of these social media trends and so forth, not only for our clients, but for their competitors as well in the industries. Pay attention to that existing engagement with your brand, help you avoid countless hours of like that shot in the dark strategy. So make sure that your personas are built on data that triggers a potential customer when they're looking for a solution like the one that you offer. So look to attract that specific persona to your business. And then after you get them to your website, once you know who you're reaching out to, you've got to pay attention to where they're the most and the least engaged, like where in their buyer journey they are as well. Like physical, literal location right now. If you used to see them and giving them print pieces at a trade show or doing a direct mail, things have changed in the past few months. So be sure that you're updating these engagement techniques as you're going along. Don't be pushy. Pushy's been bad for a pretty long time in sales, and it's really conduct unbecoming in this existing environment. You really need to give them a nice warm message that kind of demonstrates your understanding about what they care about, not what you care about, which is trying to make the sale, but it's about what they care about. So engage with them and know that they're doing more research and comparing you at a much higher rate than ever before. And then finally, delighting. Maintaining relationships is not easy, but for sales teams who want to build trust and brand loyalty with their customers as you gently move them from a browser to a buyer, it's just necessary. So connect with something you know about the person that you're talking with and speak in their language. When you've done your research and you've built this information, it becomes a whole lot more easy. So it's really important that you focus on creating this welcoming and helpful experience. I mean, it shouldn't feel like a sales call at all. So take your time and listen and ask the right questions. So this is basically the overall introduction to the inbound marketing of attracting, engaging, and delighting your customer base. So how do we get sales to really start using this inbound marketing? Within HubSpot, they call this specific part of their platform the Sales Hub. Different platforms call it different things, but it's basically where you find these tools of interacting with potential clients. Some of them are chatbots, helpful emails, and even like an online meeting booking where your prospective client is on your website and they can get time on your calendar right then when it's most important to them and they're ready to commit. So Sales Hub for HubSpot, this opportunity, it makes it easy to start building trust with your prospective customers. When they take charge of, for example, scheduling that quick call to hear more about your offerings, more people will do that, will make that decision in the moment. The online scheduler also help you keep track of who's visiting your website. It adds them into your CRM, and you can watch their complete holistic journey through coming into your website, what pages they're visiting, and you're able to connect more authentically with them because you understand what they're looking for. So we've talked about the CRM. For many of you, it might be the first time you ever heard this term. What is the CRM? Salesforce, I think, has this wonderful, simple definition of a CRM. It's basically a customer relationship management tool. So customer relationship management, it's a technology for managing all of your company's relationships and interactions with customers and potential customers. So think about that one place, it's like this folder of all of these interactions of how they've contacted you, what's been said, where you can reach them, maybe even how they prefer to be connected with. And it really streamlines the processes and helps improve profitability. So you might be surprised to know just how many businesses that we work with at 7 Scout just didn't even know about a lot of these tools because of that inbound marketing misnomer, I almost like to call it, so for the sales perspective. So even those who do use CRMs, when they are, even the sales teams that do use the CRM are seeing an increase on average of 34% in team productivity, because they're using all of these sales tools within the CRM, email campaigns, document management, callings, meetings, canned snippets, just a way of automating and making these processes a little bit more streamlined. Generating sales reports, being able to segment customers, organizing all of the content data, and also better projections with sales forecasts. So, HubSpot's more than a simple tracking tool, as most automation platforms are. They're robust platforms and get all the customer focused activity in one place. So we talked about this CRM, we've talked about the Sales Hub. Now, how do we loop back in and make sure that your sales teams and your marketing teams are collaborating and they are working together? So the first step in getting sales and marketing teams on the same page is to make sure everybody has a clear understanding of that buyer's journey. So going back to that persona, if you have a discrete marketing team, they better have the same understanding of the persona as a sales team, because that's going to make a very awkward handoff. So how are these marketers communicating with your prospective customers at each stage? And how does marketing keep track of a potential buyer's moves through the same, through this flywheel or the funnel? Emily and I were talking right before this, and she had this great quote that she pulled and talks about inbound marketing strategy involves clear data and analytics based approach that helps track quantifiable results of marketing operations. And in fact, inbound marketing is so sophisticated these days that a marketer can show a salesperson exactly how a customer found out about their company, how they came to their website, what steps they took to learn more about their company's products while on the website. So inbound marketing can help your company connect with and address customer needs at any point in the sales cycle, which means you can attract a new buyer at any stage during the buyer's journey. So now let's kind of move on. We promised this to be about 30 minutes. This is really interesting to me. So that those four are kind of the components of what is inbound marketing, who are your personas, how do you get the sales teams together, what are some of the tools that they can use, what are the statistics that back up this collaboration and makes it, it's more enjoyable for your company to work in this this cohesive pattern. And I know, because we've experienced it as consumers, it sure is more enjoyable when you feel like a company really understands you and gives you the information that you're looking for. So as promised, I kind of want to do an update for that's traditional inbound marketing, but goodness, where are we today? And again, this is a HubSpot stat, and I really appreciate the information that they're sharing. It's called the Marketing and Sales Benchmark Data. And when we send out the follow-up email after this and put the this recording on the blog, I'll make sure to put a link on there, because I find this incredibly helpful. They've been updating this information on a weekly basis. And so what they do is they look at an aggregating of data from their 70,000 HubSpot customers globally. And so this data set includes weekly trend data for core business metrics in 2020. So starting back at the beginning of the year, focuses on changes occurring during and after March 2020, which, depending on where you were in the country and also in the world, was when we started seeing most of these impacts from coronavirus, COVID-19. For us, our D-Day was Friday, March 13th. Yes, it was Friday, March 13th. And warning, just to let you know, there's another Friday the 13th coming up. It's going to be in November. And I know for us at 7th Scout, we're going to keep that date very closely monitored. So anyway, so going back to this benchmark that HubSpot updates on a weekly basis, I wanted to share with you, we're going to go through right here, deal pipelines, sales emails, and sales calls, but they also have tabs that follow marketing emails, website traffic, contact growth, conversions, and ad spends. So if that's something else that you and your team and your company or your agency is interested in watching, I would really encourage you to hop over and check that out. So these graphs illustrate the performance of key business metrics between now and those pre-COVID benchmark levels. And so let's just say, if you notice on kind of the left-hand side of this graph, anything that was up or down was just showing week over week changes in, and for here it would be deals created and deals closed. So week to week, in the months of January and February, it was just these little negligible changes. So they looked at the software and said, of our 70,000 companies, people produced maybe 3 or 4% more deals than they did of the previous week, and they closed maybe, let's look at late January, an increase in deal creation and a pretty big increase in deals closed. Great. Well, you can notice here from that March 3rd on over, deals created plummets, and following, deals closed plummeted to the lowest that we saw was in late March, early April. This is just a massive swing in data. What I love in seeing is that the trend lines are starting to normalize. We're starting to get back, and in fact, on June 8th, I would argue, looks pretty similar to that deals created that we're seeing in late February. So I don't feel confident personally that the virus is going anywhere, but I do feel confident personally that we're learning how to adapt, and we are feeling more optimistic in our current situations. Personal opinion. Okay, so let's look next. So it's that's how many deals were created, meaning people are using HubSpot thinking they're going to close business, and how many actually close. Wasn't very optimistic. But let's also look at this next one. This is sales emails. Okay, so you can link through in this and get more granular on region, company size, industry, and etc. But data from more than 70,000 global customers from HubSpot, it kind of shows these slowdown predictions. In the first few weeks of the crisis, HubSpot saw that while sales outreach increased, response rates and deal volumes dropped to new lows. Now, although sales email engagement has rebounded to some a little bit better, and that engagement is that bottom line. I would look at this and say, in early March, when things started feeling kind of scary, corporate travel was becoming banned and restricted, conferences were postponed or canceled. What did we do as salespeople? We threw people in a sequence. This is sales send emails for sequences. And what happened? Response rates plummeted. And I think that this is something we're now starting to see normalizing, where responses are getting a little bit better. But we flooded people's inboxes with a buy, enrolled them in a sequence. Since we didn't see them at a conference, we didn't see them at a trade show, we're trying to engage with them on an email. And I would argue, if we went back and looked at all of our sales emails we were sitting out there, they probably weren't very human. They probably weren't very compassionate. They probably weren't just checking in. And the reason that I feel that, even though I didn't go in and read 70,000 companies' emails, is because I look at this next chart. This is the chart of sales calls. And it shows right there, these are call events that were tracked through HubSpot. Again, little bits of, up and down, and then coronavirus happened. So what did we do? We put down our phones, we stopped calling and connecting to people, and we hid behind our keyboards, not only sending out more emails, but sequenced emails. What are we noticing now that we need more than ever? We need brands to empathize with clients, with us as human. We need solutions and not pitches. When it comes to marketing, sales, and service, a lot of customers say that they're trying to embrace empathy more than ever. So, for example, think about this when you are, at the end of this webinar, and think about, like, what is it that you are responding to from people that are trying to reach out to you, companies and family, anybody, coworkers. We're all not really still in a good place, and that is okay. But when somebody's reaching out and showing empathy, that is exactly what we all kind of need right now. And I love this quote from Hope Horner. She's the CEO of Lemon Light. They do high quality, affordable video production, which I don't know Hope, but I can only imagine that with stay home orders and banning groups of people together, recording videos for customers pretty much had to have dried up. And so she did this. She shared what they did at Lemon Light, and she said, we had to be more thoughtful when we were reaching out to prospects and opportunities. She said, we separated each industry and created an outline of the new challenges that they might be facing and the solutions they might be looking for. In some industries, we quickly realized that we no longer offered solutions that they need right now. And we decided to send them a quick and thoughtful message, but it did not follow up on any sales opportunities. So Horner added, in other industries, we realized that their needs had shifted, and so they repositioned their approach when reaching out to them. Most importantly, we opened up most of our conversations by acknowledging the current crisis. So we need to do more of picking up the phone. We need to do more of connecting. We need to do more of just seeing where people are. You cannot send out just an automated email. So I'm looking and seeing if anybody has any questions, and I know that Eve and Emily will let me know. So I'm going to pause here just for a moment and see if anybody has asked some questions along the way. I know I'm not that good in answering all of these or addressing all of these issues, but we really do appreciate the time that you take with us, every other week, and encourage you to join us in the next one. It's on July 8th, where we start talking about building out these online training programs. I do think that this is going to be a very interesting model for companies really of all sizes. And you say online training, it really could be any way that you are communicating with your internal teams. The ways that we used to always connect and be together, and really communicating that North Star and your mission, vision, values, however you want to call it. Well, everybody, it looks like maybe I did either get to your questions, or if you have any ones that you want to ask, be sure to reach out to us at hello@seventhscout.com. The whole team will see that. Again, my name is Lynn. I want to thank Eve and Emily so much for helping me get this presentation together for you all. We look forward to seeing you online on our blog, where you can view all of these recordings. And as always, be kind to each other and reach out for anything that we can help you with.